That's what I'm talking about.
Wait! Okay, now, from the beginning.
Hit it, boys. What are you talking about?
Hey, everybody, welcome into the Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. This is episode 169. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burleman Gaming, Turn-Based Carl, and Leah the Hatless. Hope all of you are doing well this Saturday. And Burley and Carl, I want to ask you, did you feel the earthquake the other day?
I did not. I don't
You
think
did
it's close
not?
enough to me.
Really? Oh, okay. Because there was
Yeah.
like a 4.7 earthquake in New York. Yeah. So
Crazy.
Yeah, my parents did. They, my mother was like, messaging me, telling me I felt it, and sending me like, news links, articles like about it before, like, because I wasn't paying attention to it at the time.
Mhm.
And I'm like, yes, Mom, I get it. Earthquake, you felt it. Cool.
Mhm. Leah,
Yeah,
in
everyone's okay. Nothing. Nobody got hurt. So
that's cool. That's cool. Leah, in Madeira, do you guys have earthquakes frequently or at all?
Very rare. We had like in the last 10 years, like one,
Oh wow.
and that's
Okay.
it. Like if they are, they're really small because we're not in an area of volcanic activity, so it's pretty chill. The Azores can say the same. They're very active. They're constantly having earthquakes over there.
Yeah, and I want to mention for any of our viewers or listeners that are in Taiwan, our hearts go out to you because there was a major earthquake this last week
that was a big
there.
one.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was. There
It's
were
really
two
scary.
actually. The first was a 7.7, and then the aftershock was 7.5. Yeah, we had tsunami warnings out here in Japan because of that, but. Yeah, our hearts go out to all those that might be listening or watching that are out there in Taiwan. So, anyway, we got a great show for you. We're going to be talking about Senua's Saga, Hellblade II, which is coming out in May. So we're going to be doing our preview of that in this episode. So let us know in the comments, is it pronounced Senua? Or is it Senua? I'm interested to know that. So please let us know in the comments if you know for sure. But yeah, we're going to be talking about that in our topic of the show. We're really looking forward to that, as well as some of the other big gaming news bits in our weekly news beat. And we're going to be talking about some of those news stories as well. But first up, let's go ahead and talk about the games that we've been playing this past week. So, of course, for myself, I haven't had a chance to play any games because I do the majority, the bulk of the content here on the Arena Productions, and I'll be talking about that later in the show. I wanted to make some more progress with Rise of the Ronin, but I haven't had a chance this week. Hopefully next week. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk. Burley, what have you been playing or streaming this past week?
I've been streaming Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm getting close to the end. I'm on the second to last chapter, and I've started that chapter, but I've heard it is quite a long one. Like for some people, it can take up to 8 hours. So it's going to be very interesting. I've put about an hour and a half into it. So, but next week I will finish the game, but I have been playing a little bit of Dragon's Dogma 2. Still really enjoying it, and we'll be talking a little bit more on that as the episode goes later on.
Yeah. So, especially in our other notes about things that are happening on the Arena Productions, we'll be talking about that. So, Leah, what have you been playing?
I've basically been grinding on inscription. It's basically extremely difficult. I keep dying. I just found out there's like
Oh.
3 arcs, and I keep dying on arc number 1 because it's a like it's a card game, but the deck is randomized, the map is randomized, like the encounters, like everything. So it is it at some extent just luck. Like if you get good cards and if you can like pray that the opponent gets crappy cards, you're good. If not, you're just gonna keep dying over and over and over again. It's
Mm.
good. I like it. I like the grind because it's like, okay, the more you play, the more you lose, the more you learn about the game, so you advance. So
Mhm.
like I was like on the third, like second boss, but yeah, still dying a lot. So like heads up if you want to play that game, it's hard and it doesn't help you at all. But it's fun,
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's games that hold your hand a lot, and then there's games that are just very unforgiving. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's true.
yeah, yeah. Carl, how about you? What have you been playing?
You know, I actually didn't get any time to play Unicorn Overlord, but there's a couple times I chose to watch some shows instead. So Burley's like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, I was gonna say Unicorn Overlord, and then he's like, "Oh, I didn't
I
have time
know.
to
I had a
play."
save though. I actually technically then that means I played no video games, but an entire week. But I finished Lower Decks season 4.
Lower Decks, yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, honestly, great season. I really liked the one with the Ferengi where Ram is in it as like the Grand Nagus.
The Grand Nagus, yeah.
And him, I just love that he's just playing stupid. Like he's playing up like he's a little bit, but he's not really.
He's not stupid though. He's not
Yeah.
stupid. He knows what he's doing. Yeah.
So like I love that. I did not expect to see that, and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Some good stuff, man. The caves one, which in the beginning I'm like, here we go. I don't know about this one, and then I was like, oh wait, no, this is actually classic. Stupid. We're stuck in a cave, but like they're pointing out how it happens all the time, and everyone has a story of being in a cave. So yeah.
But Carl, Nick Locarno. Yes.
I don't really know what was so significant about him. It's not like I didn't like the
well, they just have to bring someone back. I mean, that's the thing about Lower Decks, and like they always have to bring back some character from one of the series.
See, I don't even
they brought
remember.
Sulu back in one.
He?
So yeah.
Who was he? Was I supposed to remember him?
Well, Nick Locarno was a cadet. If you watch The Next Generation, when Wesley was at Starfleet Academy, they showed
Wesley. They mentioned him. He was briefly there.
Yeah, there's an episode where Picard comes and there's an investigation because during one of the graduation performances, Nick Locarno was the head of the team that was flying these. Kind of like a shuttlecraft, types of shuttlecraft, and one of the shuttlecrafts basically exploded, and one of the cadets died, and was Wesley's friend as well. But they were trying to cover it up, and Nick Locarno, who was the head of the team, was trying to cover it up, and he gets kicked out of Starfleet.
Okay,
Starfleet Academy
that episode, right? It's like one episode. It's a deep cut. I feel.
Yeah, and Nick Locarno was played by Robert Duncan McNeil, and of course he went on to be in Star Trek Voyager. So,
and that's why they're making the joke. Like he looks exactly like Tom Paris.
Yeah.
Is that his name, right?
Yeah, in Voyager. Yes,
yeah.
Tom Paris,
and Boimler's like, "No, I don't see it." No.
Yeah.
So I like the joke. I'm like, I knew there was something there. I was missing personally.
Yeah.
I'm excited for more of that. And Halo, I'm at episode 6, so I got 2 left.
Yeah,
and it's solid, man. It's real solid. I will say though, Master Chief needs to get back in that armor or something. I'm waiting. He's been out of that armor.
Just keep
way
watching.
Too long. I know. I feel it's gonna really pay off once, like the reason they're doing it, and it's fine. Like whatever, people will have their criticisms of that, but. Yeah. They really managed to make the Spartans, even outside of their armor, feel like these gigantic, really powerful people.
Yeah.
And I'm impressed by them succeeding at that.
cybernetically
always-
and you know and enhanced and everything. So
Yeah, he's always
Yeah.
towering over everyone in the scene. He just looks huge. Everybody comments about him being like the biggest person they've ever seen. And when even outside of his suit, he manhandles people. Like he's just throwing people around like he's super strong.
Well, I think the actor
really
himself is
skilled.
he's like 6'8" or 6'9", I think.
Yeah,
Or
and
maybe
he must
yeah.
be really
So,
tall, yeah.
yeah. So yeah.
But yeah,
So-
even with the others though, like I mean,
Kai,
I love
Kai.
Kai. Kai's such a great character.
Yeah. So great stuff. So so apologies everybody. The games that we've been playing, we started talking about the programming notes a little bit early, but
Fine.
anyway, so good stuff. All right. So let's go ahead and get into our weekly news beat. So each and every week we talk about some of the biggest stories in the world of video games and video game development. And this week started off with talk about The Witcher. So The Witcher 4. So yeah, interesting stuff here. So this was from when we had to talk about the development cycle of The Witcher 4, it looks like over 400 developers now are starting to work on The Witcher 4. So most of the staff from the Cyberpunk games are now moving over to work on Witcher 4. So the lead developer is saying that we'll be adding new gameplay elements and new mechanics to this RPG. So we do know that Geralt is not going to be the main character in The Witcher 4. That's what's been said. So my assumption is that probably the main protagonist is going to be Ciri. We shall see. But when it comes to new gameplay elements and stuff, I mean, what kind of ideas do you guys have as to what we might see in the next Witcher game? We could see new parts of the world, obviously, but what about gameplay mechanics? Burley, I'll start with you. What do you think we might get in The Witcher 4 that we haven't seen before?
Well, you know what? I might be a little crazy on this because, like, I know the whole thing with The Witcher is like hunting monsters and demons.
Mm-hmm.
How about, you know what? Why not be capturing them and using them and like breeding them and using them to fight other monsters for you?
Pokemon.
Yeah, Pokemon, Dragon Quest monsters, whatever you want to call it. Just something. Because the thing is, like, I know it does a lot of gameplay stuff within 3, even though I've probably, out of everyone here, I put the least amount of time in Witcher 3. I only have a couple hours in.
Sadness.
Yeah.
Stick
I gotta
that in
try. I gotta try it again. I'll admit I played the game at the wrong time in my life,
Yeah.
but I could see some stuff with monsters. Put more focus into that.
Yeah, let me read just a little bit of this. So this is from over at gamesradar.com. So CEO Michael Nowakowski, he was talking about this. And he says, quote, making a new game is always a creative risk, especially since we're trying to push new boundaries and explore new fields. That's something we haven't actually done before. This is a pretty broad paintbrush stroke for sure, but I cannot go into too much detail without actually talking about the game per se. I guess what I'm saying is what you should not be expecting The Witcher 3 in new clothing of sorts. Of course, we're building on the shoulders of what came before and on what we've learned, but we will be adding new gameplay elements and new mechanics that you have not seen in our previous games. So I'd say doing such things is always a risk. It's not just repeating what was done before, end quote. So, Carl, I'll move it over to you. What kind of new gameplay mechanics that we've never seen before in a Witcher game could be implemented into Witcher 4?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Yeah, I don't. I know that the second game from the third game was a significant jump in style. Like it went from smaller areas to more open world. It wasn't like fully open world, but it was mostly open world, right? Feeling in Witcher 3, where the second game wasn't like that. So yeah, I don't know if they're gonna make some other change. I mean, they can add survival elements, a little bit more of that to it. You know, like roughing it maybe in the wild, while you're hunting monsters and having to deal with some of that. I don't know. I mean, there's improvements to be made to some of the systems, like the potion stuff, which I always wanted to do more of, but I always felt like, I don't know, I just don't really, doesn't feel as good as like specializing in whether the other choices were like your magic or I guess your sword fighting, right?
Yeah. I'll tell you what they're going to do, guys.
Oh, here we go.
Just like in Rise of the Ronin, I mean, you're going to have like this special kite or, you know, special thing that you're going to fly on, right? So, so Ciri is going to be flying on a kite or something like that up through the mountains and everything. Yeah. So.
Well, how about like a wyvern or something? Yeah.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, yeah. Leah, what are your thoughts on Witcher 4 and what we could see?
I mean, daring. Let's go for the mountains. Let's do like a life simulator. Let's be a witcher. Build your own village. Make it a description like card turn based game.
Farming.
I mean, I'm just joking. Yeah, farming simulator. Why not?
They do have their card based game. What was it, Gwent?
Gwent, yes,
yeah. I mean, I feel like I understand what they're saying. They're trying new mechanics, but I think it'll be sort of like Breath of the Wild to Tears of the Kingdom, where they'll probably keep the same ideas, I guess, because it will still be an RPG, right? It's not going to change.
No, that.
It's a sequel. It will be weird to change completely genres. So maybe they will add some new mechanics and it will be something like that. Maybe they'll teleport. Who knows? That was a very popular mechanic in Tears of the Kingdom, the Ascension mechanic. So maybe we can see something
was a
like
lot
that.
of fun.
I know, maybe like we can build monsters together.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe they're at this point, they're just pinpointing ideas and see if anything really sticks out and makes a huge difference.
I'm wondering if there'll be any elements to it, like kind of like in the GTA series when GTA 5 came out, where first you were playing as Michael and then you could switch right off to Franklin or you could switch off to Trevor. So in The Witcher 4, maybe you would switch off between Geralt and then you could switch to another part of the world with Ciri and then switch to another part of the world with another character. So something like that in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And one would be like the RPG element, story-driven, political, and the other could be like a Dark Souls kind of combat type, and you have like these two things together.
Yeah.
I mean, it could work.
Yeah, like say Geralt is having some kind of negotiation in one part of the world, and then the same negotiation is being taken place in another part of the world with Ciri, and then you have to switch between them to you know, figure out how it's going to work out. You know, but yeah, it's interesting.
Was there like ranged combat? Like, I mean, as far as like a bow or crossbow, maybe there's a crossbow. I feel like
I think there was a crossbow in it. I don't remember a traditional bow.
Maybe they could do more with that. Like, have a sighting style that sort of focuses on using, you know, a longbow of some sort or some kind of bow.
No, Carl, we're gonna have machine guns, of course.
No, I was just about to say,
we're jumping
Witcher 4,
in the future.
First-person shooter. You're gonna have a Glock. You can have an AK-47 and just mow down the.
Yeah,
just crossing
bunker busters and everything. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting how they talk about new gameplay elements, and that's just a big gray area because you really don't know what that could mean, you know. So we shall see. And it
could be anything, right? But I feel like what they're just trying to say is like, it's not going to be Witcher 3.5, right? Like we're going to innovate on. We're not going to do. You know, I feel like a lot of sequels lately have been iterative, like a little bit, we've added a little bit here, we've streamlined it, we've adjusted the way the systems work, right? But it doesn't feel like a true real sequel. So maybe they're trying to say like, no, we're trying to push it. We're not trying to just do more of the same.
Do you think this will be current gen or next gen? I'm starting to lean towards next gen now. What do you guys think? Burley, what do you think? Will Witcher 4 be current gen or next gen, do you think?
I think it'll be cross-gen. It'll come just as before the next generation or consoles are like just about to come out. So you'll have day one on the PS5 and Xbox Series, but in 3 months after that, the next gen consoles come out, kind of thing, and you have it there for that update.
Yeah, that's probably a strong possibility, I think. So.
Yeah, I'm the same on that. I mean, if we're looking 2026 to 2028 as like next gen, possibly starting in that range.
Yeah.
I feel like everything's gonna be cross-gen in that time period. I don't know that like this time, Xbox for sure probably won't, but PlayStation might not even launch PlayStation 6 with any games that are exclusive to just that, because it doesn't really seem like that's where the market is anymore, that you should do that. You're just gonna really, really restrict how many people can buy your game.
You know what? That leaves us, Carl. Nintendo exclusive. Switch 2 launching the Witcher 4.
Switch and Steam. There you go.
They got Witcher 3 on Switch, so anything's possible.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. Well, speaking of another game that could possibly be next gen or cross gen, Knights of the Old Republic. So let's talk about that one. Good old Knights of the Old Republic. So we got some news on Knights of the Old Republic, and it's still in development. It's alive and well, guys. So basically, Saber Interactive, they, for like 200 plus million, they became independent again from Embracer Group. They left. And they basically took a big AAA game that, is a big property with them. Well, now we know it was Knights of the Old Republic. So they're talking about it's alive and well and it's in development. The thing, though, is we don't know how far in development it is still. We don't know anything about gameplay mechanics or anything. They haven't shown anything off on it. So basically, we just know now that it's still in development. So what are your guys' thoughts on this? Carl, I'll start with you. Knights of the Old Republic.
I'm still skeptical, but I don't obviously not, he's not lying. That would be a bad thing to do at this point. Your company just went public, or you just bought your company out like that. Man, I really want to know what the scope is of this project. It's just really unclear. They haven't told us anything, and that's typical, right? But I don't know. I feel like they should really just tell us something, like how much they intend to really do. Are they going to turn this into like a full-fledged action combat game? Because KOTOR wasn't that. Even though it kind of looks like it was, but it's not, right? So that's not how the game actually runs under the hood there. So there's a lot of work to be done, and I don't know if this team is really going to be up for that. There's a lot of reason why the game was, delayed and pushed out, possibly considered being delayed, and the whole thing with Sony saying, they weren't happy with what they saw. At least that's the rumor. But I'll remain hopeful, but I mean, I hope it's not timed exclusive anymore. That's really annoying.
Yeah. Burley, your thoughts? What do you think?
Yeah. Okay, so we now know the game is still in works. I think this game is still years away before coming
next
out.
Next gen.
I could see it an early PS6 next gen kind of thing. Or it might be cross gen, but don't expect this game out in a year or two, kind of thing. I believe the rumors that when Sony saw this, they were not too happy and that this game was not looking too good. I believe that in other stories because there have been some people that left the project and said, like, hey, this is not looking too good. It was not in a good, not good state and all that.
Really, on that, I was just thinking, and maybe it's possible that Sony just didn't think it was what they wanted, and maybe by separating out now, and maybe they're out of that deal, that contract, then they can just like, well, we don't care if that's not what you were looking for. This is the project that we were doing, and so maybe it could be closer. Who knows, right? Maybe we'll see it. I could see us seeing it next year. Maybe not come out, but like revealed.
We could get a reveal next year. Yeah. I believe in that, and we'll get shown something just because they also now being independent, they want to get hype and get investors. Show even if it's just a cinematic trailer and all that, just to get us and get investors hyped for this project, because it's been years we've heard nothing. We all pretty much thought this is canceled, this is dead. I want to see how they're going to do it, because they said, like, I think early on they said we're not going to change too much, but things will be changed. And everyone's like, okay, well, what are you changing? You changed the combat? What are you changing? So we have no information on this other than it's alive. It's alive. I'm hoping it's good. I'm hoping to see something that makes me want to play this, because I do. I could believe 2027 be the date, the year. I can buy that and believe that, but I'm just curious to see what is this going to be like? Is this going to is it going to be anything noticeable to even close to the original?
Yeah,
because the original was such a great game.
Yeah. Leah, your thoughts? Are you into the Star Wars games? Are you a fan of the Sith?
Not really. I don't think I really played the games, but to me, this is literally like a PR. Hey, we're a company. We're still here. We're still making your game. Wait and see. Everything's fine.
Everything's
kind of
fine. End
signaling
of
to like
story.
everything
Yeah.
is fine in the story. Kind of
Yeah.
end the speculation. It was canceled, but yeah, they're probably still scrambling. They're organizing, and yeah, I think we won't see anything this year. Maybe next year we can hear some rumors or like some trailers to call a couple developers in, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a story to keep everybody, thinking about the game and all and stuff. And then again, when it comes to Star Wars content, next month, Tales of the Empire is coming out. So we had Tales of the Jedi, and now we have Tales of the Empire from Disney. So anyway.
From the right
Nice.
side, I know. Finally,
From the right side, yeah, of course, bro. Yeah. I thought you were mentioning the Acolyte, but anyway, yeah, we shall see. Yeah, that's so funny how Star Wars is getting such negative press now since Disney took over. I mean, but
some of their decisions you can understand with some of the decisions they've made.
Yeah, but
I mean, the TV shows have always been good. Like The Mandalorian kind of kickstarted the Star Wars again. Like people thought, oh, it's over. The movies are terrible, and then The Mandalorian came out, and everyone loved it.
yeah, well, the first couple of seasons, and then after that, when Bo-Katan and everybody else started taking it over, then there was a lot of people that did not like that.
Yeah.
So, and they thought that was due to Disney. So, but anyway, that's a different
But
story.
But they gave us Andor, which we all loved.
Yeah, Andor's incredible. Yeah, so
Yep. Maybe the Acolyte would also be good. It also looks good. So
Yeah.
people just want a villain, right? And Disney's like just a good target for them. I mean, who would be better to curate this franchise, right? Like, you can make arguments, but like, Disney's got the money. to make
Yeah.
it what it is right today. And
Yeah.
you know, maybe they've made some wrong choices here and there. Obviously, they have. I don't think everything is good, but there has been good stuff. And it's not like the prequels were good. So you know, whatever. Star Wars is, you know, people love the franchise, but like the original trilogy is the best of Star Wars still.
Yeah,
course,
and even like if you guys saw the behind the scenes, like to make those original movies was a hot mess. Like George Lucas and the team didn't know what they were doing. So it's not like things have changed dramatically. It's like they were scrambling, like the visual effects was really far behind. They were like all over the place. Like it's a very interesting documentary. So if you guys
Oh,
want to see
I've
it,
seen them.
I'm gonna try to find
seen
it to share. But like even George Lucas didn't know what he was doing. Like the editing kind of saved it all a bit.
Yeah.
So thank the man's wife because she kind of pulled it all together.
Yeah, and the technology that he wanted to use really wasn't around back in the late 70s.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway. All right. Let's go ahead and move on. So next up, let's go ahead and talk about the Ubisoft Forward. So obviously later in June, of course, we have the Summer Game Fest. We've got the Xbox Showcase, and then of course now we're going to have the Ubisoft Forward on June 10th, and we're going to be seeing more on Star Wars Outlaws. Speaking of Star Wars, as well as most likely we're going to get our first looks at the new Assassin's Creed game, codenamed Red. So I'm interested to see Red, and I know it's probably going to look a lot like Rise of the Ronin or Ghost of Tsushima.
Better.
Yeah, it probably will. And then what era is it going to be in? I'm interested to see. Probably it's going to be Edo period, during the Tokugawa period, most likely. But I'm excited for that. But Star Wars Outlaws, I think we're going to get a release date on that because it's supposed to come out this year. And it seems like in this article, I'll go ahead. It's already up there for all of you video viewers to check out. But in the article, they're talking to Ubisoft is saying that the Assassin's Creed codename Red could possibly come out this year, but most likely it'll come out before April of next year. Whereas most likely Star Wars Outlaws will probably be coming out, in the fall. So I'm excited for that. And which of these two games are you more excited for? Star Wars Outlaws or Assassin's Creed Code Red? Carl, I'll start with you. What do you think?
Well, I think Star Wars Outlaws looks great. I'm excited to play that game. But I'm more excited to see what AC Red will be because I already know what Outlaws is right now. And I think AC Red has a chance to be that Assassin's Creed game that we haven't maybe had in a while. Like there hasn't been, I think there's just been less and less love for that franchise, even though it's still successful and popular. But Ragnarok was not Ragnarok, Valhalla, right?
Yeah.
Valhalla.
Yeah.
Was, I think most people didn't love it. I think it has its fans and it did well. It's not a bad game, but wasn't making anybody super excited, right? And then Mirage, I think I feel like it came and went, and I still I never played it, but I wanted to play it.
Yeah.
And this is the one that everybody's been asking for so many years.
Because it's in Japan.
Yeah. I mean, it's just right. But it's just the thing that always made sense, right? Yeah, why wouldn't they do that? Ninjas, stealth, assassination, that gets just, yes. It works. And then Ghost of Tsushima came and kind of beat them to it. And now Rise of the Ronin, but I think Rise of the Ronin kind of fell pretty flat. I don't think a lot of people really paying much attention to that. And then again, it's only on PlayStation. It's this will be everywhere. So there's a chance this could be a huge thing, and maybe they can blur the lines a little better between the RPG side that they went and the stealth side that we went back to now with Mirage. Like, could we use somewhere in between, maybe? You know, we'll see.
Yeah. I just don't know, man. I mean, an Assassin's Creed game in Japan just doesn't sit well with me. And one of the reasons for that is because the premise, or the Assassin's Creed story, is basically a Western story. I mean, they originate in Egypt. And then of course it moves on to the Roman, Republic and Empire, and then it moves on to Constantinople. And to just throw it into Japan when Japan is, based on, the Buddhist culture and everything else, it just doesn't sit right with me to have it in Japan. Yeah, they did have the 2.5D kind of the Chinese
China one, yeah.
version of it, and the Chinese character. I just don't see it in Japan.
Did you play that one? Yeah,
I played it. Yeah.
So how did they make that, have anything to do with the Assassin's Guild? Because
earlier on, before they made that game, they did a small YouTube video on where she met Ezio. And,
the Embers film.
The Embers, yes. They did that, and then obviously it had trickled into China, and so then she came to find Ezio in Embers. So, but I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it. Yeah, I mean, the assassination with ninjas and all of that, but just the creed and the organization and all. How is it going to find itself in Japanese society at that time? Because Japanese society did not want any Western influence whatsoever. So they were a closed off island nation. So
that's the question. And that's the problem with, I think, the franchise is like they keep trying to force that whole Assassin's Guild thing everywhere in the world, and it's like it doesn't work anymore. And we've lost the plot of like the whole thing. Who cares anymore, right? Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe they won't even have it be directly related. Who knows?
But most gamers won't even think about that though, Carl. They're just thinking about the gameplay and the game itself. They're not thinking of the organizational structure and how it made its way to Japan and all that stuff. People aren't going to think about that.
Most people won't give crap about that.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I'm in the minority on that, definitely. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a work of fiction, so you can write it however you want to write it, and it'll be fine for most people.
Yeah. Burley, Leah, what do you guys? What are your expectations for Code Red and for Star Wars Outlaws that we're seeing here in the video section?
Burley, wanna kick it off?
Sure. Outlaws is the game I'm looking more forward to because it's something different from Ubisoft instead of the generic formula that we've been getting from Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and all those stuff. So it's something quite different for them. So and it's a different kind of thing in the Star Wars universe. I'm not playing as a Jedi, a Force user going, do I go the light side or the dark side? No, you're just you're an outlaw in the criminal underbelly and all this kind of stuff and going to different planets. So why that's the most interesting to me. Red, like Carl said, that they lost the plot a long time ago. In Valhalla, the Animus time of plot can add up to about 15 minutes. In that game. So they like that stuff. It's like I gave up carrying on it years ago because of just the bad writing and bad stuff in Assassin's Creed 3.
Three was a good game.
Three was. I agree. Red has me interested, and like it's gonna get compared to Ghost of Tsushima no matter what. It can be different style in a different era than what Ghost of Tsushima was set in. It will undoubtedly get compared to. So I'm very interested to see what area they pick in Japan, what era as well, and see with how we go. Yeah, it's going to be forceful. The writing of, yes, are the Templars called Templars at this point, or are they the hidden ones? Are the organization? Sorry, yeah, I can't remember what they were called.
I'm
Valhalla.
assuming that Code Red is going to be probably Azuchi Momoyama period, which is probably close to the beginning of the Edo period, during the Sengoku era, most likely. We shall see. Because of some of the characters, I think there's like an African character that had made his way into Japan that we'll see. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm one of the biggest Assassin's Creed fans. I mean, I'm the biggest Assassin's Creed fan here. But I just, it's just getting to the point where I just put it down for a while. Just let it lay low.
Never.
And just
Ubisoft's like,
Yeah.
we must always have an Assassin's Creed game.
and that's bad. I just don't like.
They've got
that.
like two more in the making.
In the
already.
making, yeah. They've got Jade also,
Yeah.
which is kind of like the mobile game.
Uh-huh.
But I just
Then they have
I
the
want
VR
to see.
game.
I want to see
VR.
something different, and I
Hexes
think
Yeah,
I want to see something different, and I think that's. I agree with Burley here. Star Wars Outlaws. I'm because I'm a big Star Wars fan as well. But I mean, it's something
Ooh.
different. It's something different. It's
Well-
not Jedi. It's not Sith. It's just an outlaw runner that's running around the galaxy and trying to make a profit. So
Plus, you got the cute badass pet. What more do you want?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to be excited for a game we know nothing about. But are we sure, like, it's already set in stone? It's gonna be in Japan, or is it just speculation?
No,
I
it's
forgot.
gonna be in Japan.
Yeah, it's confirmed.
Codename Red.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's confirmed.
I mean, I know expat. Maybe it will be the Portuguese trying to get a plot to take over the government.
I was gonna say maybe
And
they
Black
did
Sword will be
Jesuit
in the game,
priests.
and Toranaga will be in it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll never know. Let's keep hoping.
Yeah.
Well, I could just imagine we sit there when we do the Ubisoft Forward and all that. Just have if they show it and it's the Shogun period, just Leah and Fubu's faces, just say like, "Come on, yeah, it's Shogun against us to now this."
So
I
That'd be awesome.
think we're gonna get a release date for Outlaws, though. I really am. I'm predicting it's gonna be in the fall. I think they're gonna bring it out in the fall, and then Codename Red will slip into next year, but probably before the end of the fiscal year. It might be March or so. What are your guys' predictions on this? On Outlaws, especially for a release date?
Maybe Christmas, near Christmas. It could be like a Christmas title. I mean, it's Star Wars. It has a little cute character. Maybe some plushies come along with it. Who knows? Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go September, mid to late September for Outlaws. So that way it's at a good point in the year. Plus that gives them, it's not too far away from the voting time. So it'll still kind of be fresh in people's minds for Game Awards nominations.
Yeah. Carl, what are your expectations on a release date for this?
just to be different, I'll say August, and I'll say that to give them an opportunity to maybe also put out AC Red, later, so there's a good enough spacing in between, so they have more room there. I wanted to say also, when you bring it up Ghost of Tsushima again, one of the things that we're going to see that's very different is there's going to be dense cities, right? We know Assassin's Creed loves to do these dense city locations, and Ghost of Tsushima didn't have any of that. It was much more like countryside and small villages.
Yeah, well, because it was in Tsushima Island,
Right.
which is off the coast of Kyushu. So
I'm sure that'll be incredible to see. I mean, they're really second to none in recreating these historical locations.
yeah, I think it's probably going to be a bloated. It's going to be like
Well,
if it is
bloated.
if it's a Zuchi Momoyama period, which I'm thinking it probably will be, you're probably going to be probably Kyoto, Nagoya area, most likely. So in that sphere. So in Western Japan, I think. So I don't think you won't be in Tokyo, like Edo yet. So
Well,
you
maybe
might
that's where it should be. Okay.
Well,
it probably should be, but the time period would
Mhm.
probably put it in like Kyoto or Nagoya area. Burley?
I mean, with a
Or-
name
oh, yeah.
like Reds, what a
Mhm.
missed opportunity to be like a Soviet spy in America in like
Well,
in the
that's
50s.
well, that's not the actual name. That's just the
Yeah,
code
it's
name. So yeah, and
But like,
they're
it
gonna
would be
make
amazing.
it different. Yeah.
Or even like World War II when they're doing eugenics experiments, it could explain the guilds,
mhm.
if they
Yeah.
jump a bit ahead, right? I think.
Well, I'm just
Was it-
thinking it could be the Iga, because that's one of the famous, ninja, sects. And they might transform that and make it into some type of assassin's guild or something.
yeah,
I
let's
don't
do
know.
that.
I haven't.
Do that.
Well,
I don't know.
you know what? Origins, you got the dragon boss for guarding one of the pyramids. Does that mean we're gonna get a giant kaiju? Are we gonna get Godzilla DLC for Red?
Oh, that would be cool.
Oh yes, they have to do that. Now, oh, you brought it
I
up.
would-
No, that's coming in Rise of the Ronin, Burley. Yeah, that's going to be coming. The Shin Sengumi, they're going to fight Godzilla and lose.
I would like that. That would, even if it's paid DLC, you get to fight Godzilla, and it's a big battle, and it's an awesome fight. That will sell copies. And
It'll sell
I'll be
copies,
the
but the
idiot.
fight
I
will
will
last,
spend the
like,
money
2
on that
seconds.
because I just gotta see.
When
Yeah,
that
'cause Godzilla-
radiation breath blows out and just
The atomic
melts the
breath.
Shin Sengumi in like 2 seconds, yeah, that's yeah.
Okay, you're not fighting Godzilla. You're fighting alongside Godzilla. How about that?
Okay, if I get to ride Godzilla in the battle,
Yeah, see, you're
10
like a
10 out
ninja
of
running
10.
up his back, and you're gonna jump off of him on top of the other monsters, and
throwing shurikens
Yeah,
as he's
man.
doing the atomic breath.
it
Oh my
sells
god,
itself.
Carl!
We got
Carl, we gotta go call Ubisoft right
Yeah, I
now.
get him on the phone right now. It's a gold mine.
Hello, Ubisoft. Yes, you're gonna love our idea.
Okay, it's so all of you listeners and viewers, thank you for being so patient with us. It's time to get to the topic of the show now. So, topic of the show. So, we're going to talk about Hellblade 2. So, Hellblade 2 is coming next month, and it's only a $50 game, which is interesting. And obviously, it's going to be on Game Pass day one. So, for Game Pass subscribers, you'll be able to play it day one, which I will be doing, of course. And the cool thing about Hellblade is all motion capture, and we're going to talk about that. And just how next gen this really is, this game. I mean, it's going to be a beautiful game, but 30 frames per second on console fixed. So
Nani?
we're going to talk about that. Yeah. So anyway. So Senua Saga Hellblade 2. So 30 frames per second option on Xbox Series X. Obviously, if you're going to play it on PC, you'll be able to switch it up to 60, I'm sure. I'm really surprised that this game would not get up to 120. I mean, the way they've been promoting it and all. I mean, it looks so beautiful, the game, and we're going to be showing some of the clips of it here in a minute. But so let's start there. 30 frames per second. Are you satisfied with that, or are you, annoyed by the fact that console players are only going to be able to play this at 30 frames per second? The developers were talking, and the studio head was also talking about how they wanted to focus on 30 frames per second because there are some movies that use 24 frame per second, sequences. So, yeah, 30 frames per second for the stability and all. So, what are your guys' thoughts? Carl, I'll start with you. 30 frames per second on console. Are you satisfied with that?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, we've had this conversation like, for so many different games now. It just we keep hearing it, and this is the kind of game that's pushing boundaries visually. So I don't really care. I mean, if you're looking at that, I mean, who really cares? That's 30 frames per second. Like, you're not really gonna feel it. It's not. It isn't going to be like really fast paced, stuff going on, right? It's going to be like visceral, right? And like, close quarters, like just getting down and dirty. And you're not going to be like whipping around the camera, like trying to, shoot stuff behind you, so it's not going to make as much of a deal with a game like this. And, I think you can justify it with this game as far as, like I said, the visuals. And other games were different. Like Starfield didn't really justify it with the visuals, but that's the kind of game where the scope of what it's doing under the hood makes it difficult to do, 60 frames. Dragon's Dogma 2 is again another one that's, running 30 for the most part. I mean, it's unlocked, so it's going to fluctuate. It goes up or down a little bit, but again, that's because it's doing something, arguably like next gen, right? It's tracking a lot of, dynamic factors in the world, right? And so that's fine. I want to see games that are pushing new ideas, different things that we haven't seen in previous games or generations, So sometimes you got to make that sacrifice, and it's not going to make. Go ahead, yeah.
So my question is, was Ninja Theory creating a video game or a cinematic experience?
Well, I mean, you could argue it's both, right? I don't think that it's not going to be like an interactive movie unless you consider the first game an interactive movie, which I think this is very much a sequel, right? It's going to be very similar to what you played before, but is taking it all to the next level.
Yeah.
And as far as like the motion capture and stuff, I mean, that stuff sounds great, and that's what made the animations in The Last of Us Part 2 so incredible. I mean, there's so much motion capture work for the animations in that game, which is why like everything that happens seems so real, and again, that game felt really visceral as well, because when you like crashed into an enemy, or you stabbed from behind, or did all the different things that you can do in that, it felt unique. Like you felt like that animation was happening specifically because of the way I positioned myself, in that situation, or that interaction with an enemy. It wasn't like the same canned animation I've seen over and over, as cool as some of those can be.
Yeah. What are you guys' thoughts, Leah and Carl? Or I'm sorry, Burley.
I mean, to be honest, the human eye can't see 60 frames per second. I mean, most movies are 24 and they look amazing and fantastic, and no one is complaining about it. I get it for, first person shooters when your reaction time really needs to be accurate. Okay, 60 frames per second, but based on what we see here, it makes a big difference. It really feels cinematic. And I don't know if you guys feel like this, but to me, sometimes movies have that uncanny valley feeling where it feels too real, but it also feels kind of fake at the same time. And the fact that this is kind of 30 frames per second kind of eases that factor a bit, and it feels more realistic than, for example, like at The Last of Us, that feels like, yes, it's hyper realistic, but then it moves so fast and you still get the sense, oh, it's a video game. And in here is kind of, okay, it feels real, it feels like an experience. So in a way, the studio was very successful by doing that, but staying at the 30 frames per second. I don't know, what do you think, Burley?
Yeah. I played Last of Us Part 2 in 30 frames per second, right? Like it wasn't 60 when I played it on PS4, so it was fantastic. I love that game. And what you're saying, Leah, the best example of that, like sort of uncanny look from like a high frame rate, is the Hobbit movies in the high frame rate version.
Yeah.
If you saw that, it was awful. It's unbearable.
It's so weird. I don't like it.
Yeah.
Burley, your thoughts?
30 for this kind of game, for this game specifically, I have no issue. To me, it's a case by case basis. If 30, like as Carl mentioned, Dragon's Dogma 2, it runs at 30. I don't have a problem with the frame rate there. From seeing this visual wise with all they're doing, I understand it. And it's because of other stuff we're going to get into with this, because your combat is fighting one-on-one. It's not like this is Devil May Cry where I got a bunch of enemies, or God of War where I'm got multiple weapons. You really want the and more frames and all that for all that kind of, for all the crazy stuff that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine to me that this is 30 frames per second. I want to see with how all this visual stuff that they're going to show and do in the game. I'm curious.
Okay, let's talk now about this game most likely being like it's the first game about 10 hours long. And like I said, it's a $50 game. The developer and the head of the studio was saying that a lot of people now prefer longer game experiences. So something like a 10-hour game rather than a bloated, like there I go again, Carl. I said bloated again. 100+ hour
Like an Assassin's
experience,
Creed.
like an Assassin's Creed game, exactly. So, yeah, I mean, how do you guys feel about that? About the fact that this game is probably only going to be about 10 hours long. I honestly don't mind. I would probably prefer something around 20, but 10 hours. I mean, if I get a lot of satisfaction from the story, that's what I'm looking forward to the most. And if it's 10 hours, then so be it, I don't know. Your guys' thoughts. Should Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 be longer than 10 hours for this big cinematic experience?
No.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think we all agree. Like, let's hope it's a great game, wins Game of the Year, and then all games start being a bit shorter, please. I mean, if it tells a story and it's very story heavy, it's a great experience. There's no need to push it any further. Then yes, it's the best decision, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Love great games.
Yeah, I mean, if it's, and I assume it will be like the first game, it's a focused experience.
Yeah,
that's great. That works really well. I mean, if you think about like Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man 1 and 2, those games, if you were to just play the main story and there was nothing else in between,
mm-hmm.
right? And maybe small amount of like exploration, but like nothing really, else to do. Yeah, it might be 10 hours, right? You might go through it and it might feel great like that. But that's not necessarily what people want, right? Everybody wants different things. There's different games for different people. So, but that works for what they did in the first game. And I had a great experience playing through that game.
Yeah.
I never, when I played it, I didn't think, wow, that should have been longer, because again, everything felt like this focused, experience that wasn't trying to like make me waste time doing random tasks anywhere. Like everything was driving that main idea and story. So I assume we'll get that again, and that's great. Although I will argue that this guy saying, many people prefer a 10-hour experience. I'm like, I don't think that's really true. Some of us might like that, but like, look at the most popular games out there. I mean, which ones are 10-hour experiences or less?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the majority of them are probably 50+ hours. So, yeah.
But well, I mean, the most popular games are short round games that you can repeat over and over again, like Fortnite,
Those are infinite hour
CS:GO.
games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like for the junk, like you have like 5 minute shorts and then you repeat over and over again. So it's not like you're continuing a really big story over like 100 hours or whatever it is.
No,
Yeah,
but
and just I was just gonna say too, and we're seeing the video of Melina Jurgens here. I mean, and I just want to say that, man, she was in the right place at the right time, because when they were about to develop the first game, she was just like a staff member in the studio, and they just picked her and said, can we borrow you and do some motion capture to check this out, and they were just so enamored by her and her performance and how she did things, and they're like, okay, you got the part, so that's awesome for her.
Yeah, it's really fun.
I I I agree. For this to be like 10 hours, it helps it with it being a more focused game. Like I haven't finished the first game, but I put a couple hours in. I can agree it is very focused with what they want you to experience. Like if this was a 25 to 30 hour game, I'd be like, okay, how much crap and how much freaking puzzles am I gonna just be sitting here doing, being like, I'm just doing this, waiting till I get the next bit of story and stuff that I care about. So it's nice that they're putting the time of, yeah, maybe a shorter experience, but shorter in some cases like this can be more focused and more impactful. That when you play a session of an hour or whatever, you feel that you made quite a bit of you made progress with that hour you put in, but you're also feeling you're gaining and moving forward, and it's just making you want to keep playing and coming back to the game.
And especially the mental aspects of it all. I mean, hearing the
Yeah.
whispers and everything in this, and you're gonna probably get a lot more of that in this one too.
Mhm.
So the mental, the mental aspects of it all. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. So now let's get to what they were talking about with the combat. So fully motion captured combat. So 1v1 only. And what's really interesting and cool about this is they were talking about how what inspired them when they were making this was the Game of Thrones episode Battle of the Bastards. And if and any of you that have watched Game of Thrones, and any of you that have seen that episode Battle of the Bastards, and the combat sequences, the battle sequences in that episode, boy, oh boy, you're in for a treat, because yeah, I mean, that was probably one of the bloodiest episodes ever of Game of Thrones. And yeah, just the one-on-one elements of it with Jon Snow fighting, hand-to-hand combat. So in this game, fully motion captured, 1v1 only. So really excited for that. What are your guys' thoughts on it?
Interesting that you mentioned Game of Thrones, because I've made this criticism before that my favorite battles in Game of Thrones were the one-on-one combats that happened kind of in the more early seasons, and then later they started to try to do a bit more, those big battles, like the Battle of the Bastards, which was good, right? But I really loved, like, just thinking back to like Ned Stark fighting
Lannister,
Jamie
Lannister,
Jamie Lannister in the first season.
First season.
It was just so tense. It was just such like it was a story unfolding within the combat, right? And so like I would love to feel that way, right, when I'm playing this game.
Yeah.
My thing, like combat with the first game, it was okay. I'm really like, I know that they haven't said too much more on combat on this, like that you're going to be gaining extra stuff in it. So this is something I'm hoping they're just holding back and not showing, because combat, especially like normal fights, it was just repetitive. Turn your brain off and be like, X, Y, X, Y. Just repeat those two buttons and you'll win the fights, kind of thing. So I'm hoping for a little bit more, because that was one thing, like other than boss fights where you had to, really be careful you're dodging and your timing, and then you doing the one little thing so you can get health back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't use motion capture in the first, because they clearly did capture, the face of I mean, the main character, and maybe others. So it was an odd choice. They didn't like fully commit to also doing motion, because in games like Until Dawn, they did motion capture, like people walking, going up and down, running, many different things, and it was a cinematic experience. So that's cool. We'll see how it performs in the game. Be interesting to see.
Well, Ninja Theory was quoted as, when they were talking about this, as they said, quote, if this movement, running, climbing, fighting, is derived from performance capture, it's going to be grounded in reality. Dom Matthews, the studio head, said, quote, it's going to feel consistent and real. And the key goal was to make combat feel like part of the journey, end quote. So, yeah, it's really good stuff. Yeah, I'm excited for it. My question is, will this be a trilogy? Will there be a third game? I'm leaning towards yes. I mean, because this is probably going to be very well received. It's probably going to be one of the best Xbox games of the year. So, yeah, what are your guys' thoughts? Will we see a Hellblade 3?
I'm gonna keep reserved for now. I think we'll see how the story unfolds, and if there's room for that, because we don't know. Maybe this is like full circle, and then if they bring it a third one, it could be another character.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think they'll go trilogy. I'm just gonna say, if they're investing so much money into 2, then showing all the stuff they're investing into and making it the production higher than the first game, I just have a feeling they're gonna go third game.
Carl?
Well, I think it's possible it could just be these two, depending on what story they're telling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you could just look at the techniques that they used to create this game could be applied to something else, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be another one of these games, and you can make something incredible. That's a new IP. So I wouldn't mind that either. It's all going to depend on, I guess, like how, if this game is so incredible that I'm like, well, I can't say no to another one, then I would probably, want a third one. No. But I'm curious to see what else they'll do. They do have that Project Mara, which was talked about many years ago now, which, maybe we'll start to see, because this is going to come out. Who knows? Maybe we'll see that in June, because this game will be out already.
Yeah, definitely. We shall see. So anyway, that was our topic of the show. So breaking down and talking about Hellblade 2. So Senua Saga, which is coming May 21st. So really, really excited for that. So looking forward to it.
And
So,
Burley, I was just looking at, I don't want to read the whole thing on the show, but GameSpot's preview does have a more detailed idea of some of the combat stuff.
Okay.
Nice. Good stuff. All right. And let us know in the comments what you think of Hellblade 2 being at 30 frames per second on console, the 1v1 motion capture combat sequences. Let us know what you think of that. And anything about Hellblade 2 that you're looking forward to. We'd really like to hear from you in the comments section. So, yeah. So good stuff. All righty. So moving on, it's time for our new game release picks of the week. So our picks of the week for the week of April 8th through the 14th. So you can go to releases.com and check out all the games that are releasing this coming week and through the month of April and beyond. So I think, Carl, you are up first. So what game do you have for us? What is your pick of the week?
Broken Roads, coming Wednesday, April 10th. PC, PS4, 5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S. Crafted with a deep appreciation for traditional computer role-playing games, Broken Roads delivers a captivating narrative set in a post-apocalyptic Australia. Players embark on a compelling journey through a desolated landscape, encountering diverse challenges along the way. The game seamlessly combines beloved traditional RPG elements with innovative features, offering a classless system that provides a vast array of character development possibilities. One of the standout features of Broken Roads is a unique morality system known as the Moral Compass. This groundbreaking design introduces a dynamic interplay between a character's dialogue choices, questing decisions, and their philosophical leanings. Players' choices influence their character's moral compass, shaping their perspective on the world and impacting future interactions. This innovative system adds a layer of depth and complexity to decision-making, enhancing the overall role-playing experience and encouraging players to truly embody their character's beliefs. That was a long one to read. This is actually a game that I've been following for years because it just came up. I don't know how I noticed it, but it reminded very much of Wasteland.
Yeah.
That's a franchise which I love since Wasteland 3, and I played some Wasteland 2. This is a smaller indie developer, and I kind of forgot about it, because again, like I said, it was years ago when I first discovered this game and was following it, but they didn't have any date or anything. So now here it is, and it's coming. So I'm excited. I hope it turns out really well.
Yeah. All right. Burley, you're up next. What do you got?
Mine's Urban Shadow Legacy. Urban Shadow Legacy is a dynamic stealth platformer where you step in the role of Aina, the sole survivor of a vanishing race, wielding enigmatic shadow powers and advanced gadgets to navigate through the game, choosing to evade or eliminate as you delve into the mysteries of your ancestry and the secrets preserving a fading, moral, ambiguous universe. The legacy you leave is yours to decide. Discover a unique fusion of stealth and shadow manipulation with the shadow mergeability. It is coming Wednesday, April 10th to PC, Xbox One, and Xbox Series. I love my platforms and merging through shadows and stuff like this. This just looks so cool, and it looks like this is going to be a lot of fun.
Nice. All right. I'm up next. So my pick of the week is Space Prison. Welcome to Space Prison, inmate. This facility is where you will live out your full sentence alongside the rest of the guilty aliens under our jurisdiction. Forming alliances or fighting with fellow inmates and using resources to create contraband items is expressly in violation of prison rules. Any unauthorized activity will be punished, and should your body be unrecoverable upon death, you will be assigned a new one. Death is not an excuse for a shorter sentence. So it comes on April 10th to PC Early Access. Yes, PC Early Access. So
hey, I see it looks like turn-based combat.
Yeah. Right. Yep,
Always gets me excited.
Yes, and this was also shown off at the spring showcase. So yeah, it's good stuff. Space Prison. Yes. Wish list now on Steam. No.
Nice.
All right. Okay, Leah, you're up next. What do you got for us?
The game I have is Sophia the Traveler. Is a captivating game that draws inspiration from the beloved Where's Wally puzzle book series, offering players an enchanting and detailed exploration experience. This game transports players to a beautiful rendered virtual Venice where each screen is a richly illustrated canvas brimming with detail and activity. The game features 10 elaborate stages, each populated with an extensive collection of assets that brings digital Venice to life. With over 1,800 carefully designed character assets, more than 300 unique character animations, and an impressive array of over 100 sequence animations and sound effects, Sophia the Traveler promises a deeply engaging experience for players of all ages. The game's maps are vast and intricate, providing both charm and delightful challenge. Notably, the game includes over 100 European building designs featuring 8 iconic Venetian landmarks and nearly 300 sound effects that authentically recreate the ambience of Venice. It comes out to PC and Switch in 4 days on April 11th. That was a mouthful. And you can find some fun Easter eggs because I see there's like a known Jedi in the trailer.
No,
So it
Sith.
just seems really fun to kind of look around and see what you can find.
You know what this game kind of reminds me of, and I use this book with my students out here in Japan once in a while. Do you know the Where's Waldo or Where's Wally? It's called Wally out here in Japan, but
That's what. Yeah, she said that.
yeah.
It's
It
based on
highly recommends. It reminds me of those those picture books and things like that. So fun. Yeah.
It's funny. I only found out that it was called "Where's Wally" in other countries. Like I don't know, not too long ago. Probably like a couple of years. It was always "Where's
I
Waldo."
found out today.
Yeah. It's like in the States, it's Where's Waldo, and then I found it out here in Japan. It's like Wally. Why is it called Wally? Yeah.
Yeah, and here is Wally as well.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah. So anyway, those are our new game release picks of the week for the week of April 8th through the 14th. You can go to releases.com to check out all of the games that are releasing this week throughout the month of April and beyond. So check out releases.com. So for all of you audio listeners, www.releases.com. So please check that out. All righty. Next up, we have Game Pass. So Carl, wave one for April. So what do we have for Game Pass coming up?
Here we are, Game Pass April. I wasn't really impressed with this one, but maybe there's stuff I just don't know about. You got Lego 2K Drive, April 3rd, already out now. Then Lil Gator Game on April 4th, again, already here. EA Sports PGA Tour. Then April 9th, we have Kona. April 9th as well, we have Botany Manor, which is day one Game Pass. There's your cozy game right there. Shadow of the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition on April 11th.
Yay. That's
Yeah.
my girl. That's my girl, Laura.
I do love those games.
Awesome. Yeah.
Honestly, I think Shadow is a very good game, and people, for some reason, I don't know, it didn't review as well in some places, but I think it's just as good, and it's got the best Tombs stuff out of the franchise. So I don't know what the definitive edition is.
That's the DLC they added to
all the DLC with it. Yeah, I mean, Rise of the Tomb Raider is also really good. So that's of the three, probably Rise is the best. Yeah, but Shadow is really good.
People were mad it was just not Rise 2.0. That
I mean, it's not like it's that different from Rise. As far as like gameplay goes.
Yeah, I'm really. Before you go on, Carl, I was just going to say I'm really interested because hopefully during the showcases in the summer, we'll get the new look at the new Lara Croft Tomb Raider game. So I'm wondering if Camilla Luddington will be continuing as the voice and the the motion capture for Lara. We shall see, but
it's going to be a tough needle to thread because this trilogy was so good. I don't know, like how do you follow that up with a reboot or whatever it is you're doing?
Yeah, well, also I think it's on Netflix. I'm not sure, but Haley Atwell, she's playing Lara Croft in the animated version. So
okay,
it's good stuff.
Last but not least, let's say April 16th is Harold Halibut, another day one game on Game Pass. I know nothing about this one.
Well, halibut is a fish, correct?
I believe.
Yes.
So
it is.
maybe it's underwater.
Well, I'll read it to you. Here you go. It is a handmade narrative game about friendship and life on a city-sized spaceship submerged in an alien ocean. Join Harold as he explores a vibrant retro future where world in his quest to find the true meaning of home.
Sounds cute.
Nice. All right, so those are our Game Pass games. Wave 1 of April, of course. For me, I would all be over Shadow of the Tomb Raider, but I've played it 3 times already, so yeah, that's enough for me.
Yeah, it's an old game now. I've played it too. I bought
You
that
weren't
game like day
sold
one.
on. You weren't sold on Harold the Halibut and his space adventure underwater.
No.
Yeah, good stuff.
But we do have Ayuden Chronicle coming later in April on Game Pass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All righty, good stuff. All right, so now it's time to talk about our programming notes. So obviously here on the Arena Productions, we are not only a video game related podcast, we are also an entertainment and pop culture related channel on YouTube. So we've got lots of different content, but talking about games still, we do have one particular extra take, Burley of Burleman Gaming, that just came out. Why don't you talk about it a little bit?
So yeah, I finally got the Dragon's Dogma 2 video extra take. So if you're anyone interested in Dragon's Dogma 2, highly recommend checking out the video. I show quite a few of the different things off, talking about different stuff and comparisons between it and the first game. So if you're on the fence or just want some info, please do go check out the video.
Yeah, Dragon's Dogma 2. And it's interesting at the very beginning of the video, there's a little bit of kind of an interesting little tidbit there on the opening screen, right, Burley? Yeah.
Oh yeah, the title screen of Dragon's Dogma 2. You might not know it's Dragon's Dogma 2 if you look at that title screen. If you watch the video, you'll understand why.
Exactly.
You'll understand.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So on to our pop culture and entertainment related content. So I did a recap and review of Shogun episode 7. So Toranaga's half brother makes an appearance in this episode. So yeah, please go and check out my recap and review of Shogun episode 7. So we're getting to the final episodes. It's a 10 episode series. So yeah, really excited for what happens. And in this episode, please be sure to watch the very end of this episode, because boy, there is a little shocking moment. So yeah, check it out.
Oh no, things didn't go smoothly. I can't believe it.
Yeah. Well, you'll see. Yeah. And believe me, I'll just say that I almost had one of these situations happen to me when living here in Japan. So I'm not going to say what it is, but just watch the very end of the episode. So yeah, it's a pretty shocking part. So Shogun episode 7 recap and review, and then on the Star Wars side of things, Star Wars: The Bad Batch. So season 3, episode 10, the recap. Cad Bane, he makes an appearance in episode 10. So please check that out. And then episode 11, Omega's Bold Move. And you guys were mentioning Rogue One earlier, and I just want to give a shout out to one of our viewers who left a comment. And in the comments, he mentioned, because I was talking about how Omega really has never been mentioned in canon, in the movies or in the TV series or anything like that. But I got a comment saying that her name was actually mentioned in Rogue One. And it's in the scene where, if you go to the scene where Andor and Jyn Erso are in the data center on Scarif, and she's looking up the files trying to find her father's file. She's reading off the file names, and one of the file names is Omega. So yeah, she is mentioned in canon very, very briefly though. But yeah, so that was quite interesting. So yeah, so please check out my recap and review of season 3, episode 11, and episode 10 as well of The Bad Batch. So we're getting towards the end of the series. So yeah, just a few more episodes left. And then next up on the Marvel side, so episode 4, Burley and I, we did a recap and review of X-Men 97, episode 4. So we got Jubilee there. So yeah, the video game episode, right, Burley?
Oh yes, the good old video game, Motendo, the Mojoverse, all the stuff you need and love.
Yeah, so good. Really, really good stuff.
Can I comment on this episode here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, please don't break up a short runtime like this into 2 separate stories. It's not enough time. And the little Motendo thing with Jubilee, I was like, this is cute, but it's not. It's there's nothing to it. It's
And then
very
breaking
simple.
off to Storm. Yeah.
Storm
Yeah, and then
Forge,
you go
yeah.
into the story with Storm, and again, that felt like very rushed. I didn't feel any of the impact. It seems like this is supposed to be a very emotional story, but I didn't have enough time in it to really care.
Yeah.
So like, oh, you gave me this nostalgia vibes with the old video game stuff in the Jubilee part, but these 2 stories had nothing to do with each other. So it just
But
felt like
I think Burley wasn't episode 4 is like part 1, right? I think next week is part 2.
well, half of episode 4 is part 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, it's incredibly weird to halfway through an episode for it to say life death part 1. We're not in the beginning here.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah, that is a little off, but we'll just have to wait and see how they do the next one.
Yeah, but I thought it was cool that they, and then weird also that like we got to see Jubilee's powers used in some unique ways.
Mhm.
But then it was a character who's just like not real, like a future not real version of her who did all that stuff, and I'm like, oh. Well, I kind of hope they do let her do that. Like she was like almost like rollerblading by like propelling herself with little blasts from her feet.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's awesome. Let's see her do that. In like an episode that matters, not like a random. This silly little video game thing happened.
Yeah.
And the other guy's just along for the ride and literally does nothing. He's completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
The Sunspot guy.
Well, he's our Jubilee. If you watch the original X-Men 90 show, he's our Jubilee because you have to have the new character in.
Yeah. All right, and then next up, moving over to the Star Trek side of things, Star Trek Discovery. The final season has begun. So my recap and review of episode 1 of Star Trek Discovery season 5, and then also because it dropped on the same day, and I really hate this, where they drop 1 episode a week, and then the next week they drop 2 episodes, and then the next week 1 episode, the week after that 1 episode, and then the next week 2 episodes. Well, Discovery started with 2 episodes, and then the rest of the season is 1 episode. Thank goodness. But Star Wars: The Bad Batch was the same situation this week. They dropped 2 episodes. Yeah, but so my episode 2 of season 5 breakdown of Star Trek Discovery. And what's really interesting about this final season is there are some nods to The Next Generation. So if you watch episode 1, you will see that in the episode. So, but of course, the Discovery is now in the 32nd century. So, please check it out. So, and it's the first couple episodes, especially the first episode's pretty action packed. So, a lot of action in it. So, good stuff. So, please check out all of that. So that is our upcoming and recent programming here on the Arena Productions. So please check it out. Yes.
You're not going to be happy when The Boys season 4 drops. The first 3 episodes drop day 1.
Jesus.
Yeah.
So you know what that means. I'll be doing 3 back-to-back episodes. Oh, goodness.
Oh, you got us for that.
Yeah. And then of course, this coming this week, we've got the Fallout series starting on the 11th, I think. So
it's not started in X-Men. They're dropping the entire season.
Yeah, so we're here on the Arena Productions. We'll be doing something different for that. We'll either do a episode to episode situation, or we'll do just a one big like season review type of thing. So, and also our plans are to be doing a Dune Part 2 reaction and review of that movie as well. So yeah, lots of content coming here on the Arena Productions. So yeah, look forward to all of that. So next up, games that we'll be playing, streaming in this coming week. So my situation with all of the other content and my life situation at the moment, I'm currently looking for a new job. So yeah, I don't know if I'll have a chance to play any games this coming week. So I will throw it to my co-hosts. So Burley, what are you going to be playing or streaming this coming week?
Well, the plan is to finish up Final Fantasy VII Rebirth this week, stream that, and finish that. I'll also be playing some good old Splatoon 3 because I'm streaming that tomorrow. So getting into that, and then practicing some Mario Kart because I got a tournament coming, and I am very ill prepared for that. And some Dragon's Dogma 2. I will be putting time into that.
Okay, Leah, how about you?
I will continue to get humiliated on inscription. That's basically the best word. Hopefully, I can finish Act 1. There's 2 more, but Act 1, I'll make it.
I
Let's go.
believe in you.
Thank you.
I've heard a lot about the game, and I've seen some spoilers. And it gets weird. It goes places. I tell you.
Yeah, it does get weird, but it's really difficult. I haven't even managed to get Act 1, and there's 3 of them. So tough luck. I'll let's get Carl, which will be
You know what?
Unicorn Overlord.
Nice. I want to play more, but you know what? I feel like I burned myself out with the Persona 3 Reload, like putting, like I was like 90 some odd hours I put in that game. I don't always have that much time, so like I really sacrificed a lot of sleep to get through that. And I've been enjoying watching some shows and actually getting through them. So I'm gonna finish Halo Season 2 because I got 2 episodes of that. And weirdly, I feel like Invincible Season 2, like second half, like just kind of snuck up out of nowhere because I didn't know it came out, and now it's done. I'm like, damn, I gotta catch up. I love that show, but like, man, don't break up seasons like that. Like, I'm gonna forget. I'm gonna watch some other stuff, and like everybody's talking about X-Men, 97, but I mean, Invincible's a better show, right? Like, it's definitely better. It's not really a good comparison, I would say. I think X-Men's good, but like Invincible is telling like a more serious long form story than X-Men is, right? And that I feel like there was no talk about it or focus on it because they did that break and it came back and like everyone just was like, oh yeah, that thing, right? Like I didn't see any ads for it coming back. I didn't know, so I'm excited to go back to that. And then there's Fallout. Like I feel like I have a homework assignment, like all episodes dropping.
Yeah.
If I wanna stay current with the world, I gotta like binge this somehow, like which I can't do.
Carl, we need your for Saturday. We need your opinion on the first half of the Fallout TV show. And I know it drops on Thursday. If you want to do the extra credit and do the assignment right, you'll have all. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. There's extra credit available.
Yeah. Burley, when does The Boys drop? When does it come out? The next season?
I think it is in June. It's June or July.
Okay.
June or July. I looked this up. So.
Okay. So yeah, looking forward to that. Really. So
same.
Good stuff. All right. So those are games and the TV shows that we'll be watching, playing, or streaming. So in the coming week. So yeah, so good stuff. All righty. So next up, it's time to end the show. But before we do that, just want to thank all of you that are watching and those that will be coming later in video on demand. You can watch this on our YouTube channel on the playlist, the Arena Multi-Platform Gaming News Podcast playlist. So, and of course, we also on social media, you can check us out on Twitter X. So I'll leave the link below here. So you can check us out, What Be on Tap, and on all of our other socials. You can check us out on Linktree as well. So check us out. You can check out our website, the Arena Productions, as well. So all that good stuff.
Find me on Threads, everyone. That's where I'm hanging out.
Threads. I still haven't even made a Threads account for the Arena Productions yet, so I'm still contemplating that. So yeah, good stuff. All right, so it's time to end the show with our indie recording artist spotlight. So each and every week we have an indie recording artist music to end the show with a music outro. So our indie recording artist this week's spotlight is on Duff Music. Duff Music. International guitarist, multi-instrumentalist, and award-winning producer, Duff Music has produced music embedded with his trademark smooth, vintage, authentic soul, and R&B motifs. Collaborating with some of the best international soul and jazz musicians, his polished, cool style and sweet compositions are lush with warmth and groove. From his album titled Saints and Sinners, and the song is called Up the Line. So this has been The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, episode 169. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-hosts, Burley of Burleman Gaming, Turn-Based Carl, and Leah the Hatless. And we hope to catch you in the next one. So have a great week of gaming, everyone. And take care. And be sure to watch all of our content here on the Arena Productions. So have a great week of gaming, everyone, and enjoy the outro. Peace out.